that question.
Thank you. Any other comments? Please call the roll. Bless you.
Ms. Dolan?
Aye.
Mr. Evans?
Aye.
Mr. Mauer?
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds?
Aye.
Mr. Donchev?
Aye.
5-0 passes.
10B, Bill 18, amending Article 121, Section 121.08, gaming local share account, separate bank account.
An ordinance of the City of Bethlehem, Counties of Lehigh and Northampton, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, amending Section 121.08D in Article 121 entitled Finance of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Bethlehem. The Council of the City of Bethlehem ordains in Section 1 that Section 121.08D, restrictions on fund transfers, City Council approval required, paragraph D, gaming local share account, any and all monies received under and pursuant to the Pennsylvania Racehorse Development and Gaming Act as amended shall be deposited in a separate account entitled the Gaming Local Share Account. No transfers of unappropriated funds shall be made from the Gaming Local Share Account without prior notice to and approval of City Council. Shall be amended to read as follows. Again, the Gaming Local Share Account, any and all monies received under and pursuant to the Pennsylvania Racehorse Development and Gaming Act as amended shall be deposited in a separate bank account separated and segregated from all other monies entitled the Gaming Local Share Account. The next sentence remains the same. The following sentence is added. A separate bank account shall be created for unappropriated funds to be controlled by City Council under a line item in City Council's budget, separated and segregated from all other monies. Section 2 is a repealer. Bill number 18 is sponsored by Karen Dolan and Gordon Mauer.
And again, this is very similar to the one that we just moved on for second read, and I'll also have the Tracy review this first read document if it passes. Any comments?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Did she comment on this one too? Did this come from the auditor's suggestion?
I did not have any discussions regarding this one with her. It was strictly about the ordinance that we had passed.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Reynolds?
Just one thing for Councilman Dolan's interest, that I know you weren't at the Finance Committee meeting. This, once again, you might already think this, one thing that we had realized was that it is the unappropriated funds in the gaming account, not the money that we include in the budget, but going back to the leasing above the budget amount. So those are the only funds that this includes.
Correct. Okay.
Well,
Ms. Dolan?
this one we'll just vote no, because we put a lot of effort in, and we got it right. We said exactly what we wanted. It says, any and all monies received under and pursuant to this act as amended shall be deposited in a separate account entitled the Gaming Local Share Account. That's what we have on the books right now. No transfers of unappropriated funds shall be made from the Gaming Local Share Account without prior notice to and approval of City Council. Sometimes I think when you try to layer on a bunch of extra threatening language or something, you diminish the power of what you already have. If the problem is that we're not getting reports, we don't know where this money is going, then that requires that we take action, but not to say we want to put this extra money that we locked up, I think, very tightly. We want to put it in our own budget, City Council's budget. That's for things like, paper and legal pads and tapes. It's a little teeny budget, and I think it's inappropriate to take something completely out of where it should be in a budget, and I think in this case totally arbitrarily put it in a place where it doesn't belong. So I just can't in good conscience vote for this one.
Thank
And
you.
again, if our auditor says something different, I'll listen.
Thank you. Any other comments? Please call the roll on Bill 18.
Ms. Dawn?
Nay.
Mr. Evans?
Aye.
Mr. Mauer?
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds?
Aye.
Mr. Donches?
Aye.
4 to 1 passes.
Thank you. We'll move the resolutions. 11A, authorizing the 2011 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant, JAG.
Be it resolved by the Council of the City of Bethlehem that the mayor is authorized to execute the grant award documents for funds to be received under the 2011 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant in the amount of $45,404, of which $27,851 is allocated to the City of Bethlehem. The remaining funds in the amount of $17,553 are allocated to the City of Easton, for whom the City of Bethlehem serves as fiscal agent. And for serving as fiscal agent, Bethlehem will receive an administrative fee of $1,755 from the City of Easton, which represents 10% of Easton's JAG funding. The grant will be used by the Police Department to purchase computer hardware and software. Resolution 11A is sponsored by Eric Evans and Gordon Mauer.
Comments? Please call the roll.
Ms. Dolan?
Aye.
Mr. Evans?
Aye.
Mr. Mauer?
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds?
Aye.
Mr. Donches?
Aye.
5-0 passes.
Chair will accept the motion from Mr. Evans, second by Mr. Reynolds, to consider resolutions 11B through 11F as a group. I ask the clerk to call the roll on a motion and to read the resolutions, please.
Ms. Dolan?
Aye.
Mr. Evans?
Aye.
Mr. Mauer?
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds?
Aye.
Mr. Donches?
Aye.
All are certificates of appropriateness under the provisions of the Act of the Pennsylvania Legislature and Bethlehem Ordinance. 11B, a proposal to add an elevator shaft and renovate the rear of Evans Street facade at 521 East 4th Street. 11C, to install signs, repair the rear porch, and replace windows at 700 Evans Street. 11D, to install vinyl window lettering at 310 East Polk Street. 11E, to install a non-illuminated sign at 746 East 4th Street. 11F, to restore the facade of the existing three-car garage at 116 Graham Place. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Bethlehem that certificates of appropriateness are granted for the work. The resolutions are sponsored by Eric Evans and Karen Dolan.
Comments? Please call the roll.
Ms. Dolan?
Aye.
Mr. Evans?
Aye.
Mr. Mauer?
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds?
Aye.
Mr. Donches?
Aye.
5-0 they pass.
Thank you. We'll move the resolutions 11G through J. The chair will accept a motion from Ms. Dolan, second by Mr. Bauer, to consider resolutions 11G and 11J as a group. I ask the clerk to call the roll on a motion and to read the resolutions.
Ms. Dolan?
Aye.
Mr. Evans?
Aye.
Mr. Mauer?
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds?
Aye.
Mr. Donches?
Aye.
All are resolutions authorizing the disposition of public records. Be it resolved by the Council of the City of Bethlehem that by Resolution 2010-6, adopted January 4th, 2010, the city declared its intent to follow the schedules and procedures for the disposition of records set forth in the Municipal Records Manual, and in accordance with the Municipal Records Retention Act, each individual act of disposition shall be approved by resolution of the governing body. For 11G, it is for records of the Controller's Office as listed in Exhibit A. For 11H, the records of the Fire Department listed in Exhibit A. 11I, the records of the Health Bureau listed in Exhibit A. 11J, the records of the Tax Bureau listed in Exhibit A. The resolutions are sponsored by Karen Dolan and Eric Evans.
Comments?
Just a quick question.
Go right ahead.
Attorney Spadoni and I were just pondering, when did didn't it used to be the word destruction? Destruction of the following public records? Is that the new word for destruction is disposition, and these are our records destruction ordinances, right?
Yeah, I can check previous resolutions to see if the exact wording changed from destruction to disposition.
Do you remember what I'm saying, President
Yeah,
Dodges?
I'm not sure, but I do remember it.
Yeah, I just wonder if somehow it slipped in and it's not the word we mean, but
So then maybe you could check on that again.
yeah,
Okay, thank you. Any other comments?
thank you.
Please call the roll.
Ms. Dolan?
Aye.
Mr. Evans?
Aye.
Mr. Mauer?
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds?
Aye.
Mr. Dodge?
Aye.
5-0, they pass.
11K, authorizing submission of financial assistance, Penvest water/sewer system. 11K.
Be it resolved by the Council of the City of Bethlehem that Bethlehem City Council shall be authorized to submit a financial assistance application to the Pennsylvania Infrastructure Investment Authority, known as Penvest, substantially in the form presented at this meeting for the purpose of financing/partially financing the construction, rehabilitation, and/or extension of the water/sewer system. Appropriate officers of the governing body are authorized to execute all certifications and documentation required in connection with the application. Resolution 11K is sponsored by Karen Dolan and Gordon Mauer.
Comments?
We're just curious if is
Ms.
there
Dolan?
a figure on what we're supporting at this point?
Mr. Braun here?
It's
That, Mr. Rucker?
yeah, it's the next resolution,
Ah,
Oh, right.
$9,429,000.
Go ahead, sir.
okay,
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
thank you.
Please call the roll. 11K.
Ms. Dolan?
Aye.
Mr. Evans?
Aye.
Mr. Mauer?
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds?
Aye.
Mr. Donchev?
Aye.
5-0 passes.
11L, declaration of official intent for interim financing for the sewer system project.
Be it resolved by the Council of the City of Bethlehem that the city intends to use its sewer funds to finance on an interim basis the cost of the digester system and waste activated sludge thickening improvements project, which costs are reasonably expected to be reimbursed with the proceeds of debt to be incurred by the borrower up to the maximum principal amount of $9,429,730. This resolution is a declaration of official intent adopted pursuant to the requirements of Treasury Regulation Section 1.150.2. Resolution 11L is sponsored by Gordon Mauer and Eric Evans.
Comments? Please call the roll.
Ms. Dolan?
Aye.
Mr. Evans?
Aye.
Mr. Mauer?
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds?
Aye.
Mr. Donchev?
Aye.
5-0 passes.
We'll move to new business. Mr. Evans?
Thank you, Mr. President. There will be a Parks and Public Property Committee meeting on Tuesday, July 19th, 2011 at 6 p.m. here in Town Hall. It will be held prior to an actual scheduled City Council meeting. And the following subject, there will be a presentation from the Bethlehem Backyards for Wildlife Subcommittee of the Environment Advisory Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other new business, members of council? Thank you. We will move to courtesy of the floor for public comment on any issue, 5-minute time limit. We do have a gentleman signed up first. Mr. Williams?
Should I speak to you?
To the podium, please. Then your name and address for the record.
Sure.
Thank you.
My name is Jeff Williams, and I live in Lower Saucon Township. And I am here to discuss the wind project on the Bethlehem Authority land. I am opposed to this project. And I believe over time, more and more people will be opposed to this project. As part of my effort to get the truth out and the information out about the wind industry and this property, I have developed a document that I'd like to present to the council members. And
We'll make it part of the record.
thank you. I have presented this same document to the Bethlehem Environmental Advisory Committee, Penn Forest Township Supervisors, and the Bethlehem Authority Board and their management. And I have a lot of respect for the Bethlehem Authority. They've done a great job in the past on environmental issues that are controversial, and they've leaned toward environmental protection. This wind farm is ill-conceived. And this document will provide the information that everybody should have on both the wind industry and the property. I don't want to go over the whole document, obviously, and there's no need because you'll read it. But a few items that you'll find in this document are facts, like the Bethlehem Authority's consultant stated that the Bethlehem Authority will receive at least $400,000 a year for their lease. And if you research what is generally paid, the average is $3,300 per turbine per year. If you go on the high side, $4,000 is just about as much as anybody gets paid for their lease. That equates to $110,000, not $400,000. It's important that you know these facts, and there's countless items like this. This is going to be a project that's going to cost over $110 million, based on $4 million per turbine, and that's conservative. But it will produce 3 permanent jobs. That's it. That's all it takes. The Bear Creek Wind Farm requires 2 people, and Locust Ridge Wind Farm requires 5 or 6 employees to run it. I've interviewed, well, first of all, this property is off the radar screen. It's not like all other properties because it's not public. It's not like a state park, state forest, well-known environmental location. It's private. Nobody markets this property. There are no facilities at all on this property. The property is also patrolled, which is good, and restricted access to the reservoirs. They do allow recreation, hunting, hiking, mountain biking, and birding. Some of the people that I interviewed, the experts on the environment that are familiar with this property, all of them feel that this is one of the most valuable environmental habitats in eastern Pennsylvania. It's well known for its warbler population. And unlike Hawk Mountain, these are not migrating birds. These are resident birds. There's a substantial population of rattlesnakes, bobcat. For many years, eagles have nested here. The water is pure, and this development is going to require at least 15 miles of roads that are going to be cut through the forest to provide access to these wind turbines and to their electric source, electric grid. So this document that I'm going to present has 5 maps, some of which were presented by the Bethlehem Authority's consultant. So,
Thank you, Mr. Williams. If you want to bring them forward,
sure.
we'll make it part of the record and we'll provide members of council with a copy. Thank you very much. Anybody else like Mr. Grubb?
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Dana Grubb, 2420 Henderson Place. On the UGI granting of a right-of-way, it mentions the intersection of Long Street and West Raspberry Street. Long Street is to the east of New, and New Street is the divider from west to east. I think you may have the wrong intersection on that, so you may want to double check and make sure that you have the right location on that particular resolution when you review it at the next meeting. For my lifetime, New Street has been the division between East and West, and I actually lived on the unit block of North Street at one time, so I was right in this general area. I want to follow up on the mayor's observations about traffic after last night's event. I was there as well, and I'm glad he's going to be taking a look at it. It was a cluster, to put it bluntly. And I only shudder to think what it will be like after a headline concert. I've attended headline concerts all over America, and I know what traffic is like. One large parking lot, which will be the site, may not be providing parking, but I think it's going to drive parking out elsewhere onto the south side. One observation, actually two. I thought I was parked very strategically to head east to the Mincy Trail Bridge. And between Hayes and the Mincy Trail Bridge, I was in traffic easily for 15 minutes. One of the problems there is that traffic was stacking up in the left-hand turn lane to go into the casino. I guess people wanted to gamble after watching the fireworks, which actually blocked the left-hand lane heading east. The other observation is that traffic was in 2 lanes in the area heading west towards Polk Street, and I was heading east on 3rd Street, and an ambulance from Easton was trying to come down 3rd Street. The traffic in 2 lanes had nowhere to go. We were all trying to pull off. That poor ambulance had lights and siren on. I hope the individual who was in the ambulance made it safely. They were making very, very, very slow progress. And in particular, in trying to ride the middle of the street, there were pedestrian crossing safety signs at different crossing areas, which should be there to protect the pedestrians, but were also impeding this ambulance driver's ability to walk through. So I think without reviewing this and without taking this proactive measure, I think it's only going to get worse during Music Fest. So hopefully they can resolve some of those issues. The third item I wanted to bring up tonight is something that's very, very disconcerting. I've had a number of phone calls recently that a female employee of the city actually brought a handgun into work. A number of employees believed it was loaded. The department head was notified. I don't know what took place, but these employees indicated, to the best of their knowledge, there was no action taken. I think this definitely needs to be reviewed. Should have been reported to the police, in my opinion. I believe the city's employee policies address this particular issue, but if they don't, they need to. We live in a world today where, as we know, a number of situations where an employee goes postal have taken place. Not only are the employees at risk, but the public who frequent city government, city hall. I would hope that the administration would take what I'm saying very seriously, because these employees were very, very concerned about this, for whatever this employee's reason for bringing this weapon into work was. It doesn't trump the safety of everybody involved, and I wanted to bring it to your attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any comment on that from the administration?
Well, as you know, Mr. Donches, we've had other workplace violence incidents here in the city. Those were taken very seriously. That upset numerous employees that witnessed the incident, and so it actually led to some updates and improvements to our workplace violence handbook and some additional training for all of our employees. So it's an issue that we take very seriously, one that we've grappled with in the past. There was a very thorough investigation after the last major incident that we had in the city, and the proper actions were taken as a result of the incident. So we will. This is the first time hearing about it. I'll certainly look into it and conduct a similar investigation if need be.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Steve?
I'm sorry. Stephen Antalik, 77 Ridge. The mayor preempted my comments, in fact, fortified them, and also Mr. Grubb, and I was going to address the traffic issue. I'm a Southside resident, and occasionally I go from the South Side to Wegmans. Once I cross the bridge, I'm impressed. I can go from the bridge to Wegmans, maybe one traffic light, which is at Highland Avenue. So that really impresses me as to planning. But then when I reflect on Southside traffic, the only word I can come up with is afterthought. I try to cross 4th Street down to 3rd to get onto the Fayette Bridge to come to say, to go to the library. And I find that some of these cross streets, adjacent streets were closed off. So I had to go a 3rd one. I got there and I came in, this crossing is closed, and only way it goes a right turn. So I made my right turn, only it goes one way up the other way. So I got myself in that loop and I couldn't get across to come to the library. To get across 4th Street, pick Webster. The traffic light favors 4th Street. And you can sit there, as it was mentioned, Southside Task Force, a woman could conceive and give birth before the light turns red. That was great. But fortunately, I'm not capable for that great ability. But what I'm saying is, in mid-afternoon, I would expect the light system to reflect the traffic flow. I've sat on Webster at the 4th Street light, and there's no traffic coming east or west on 4th Street. Now, you would assume a responsible group would set the pattern based upon 7 to 9, 4 to 6. But there is no such planning. So I'm glad the mayor was able to speak about that, and Mr. Grubb also, because maybe the city will look into details that affect us who live on South Street, who may have occasion to cross to the north side. Now, whether this goes back historically to way back in turn of the century when Southside people weren't allowed on the north side. Maybe this is carried back, I don't know. Is there a plot going on here? Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
I just, I mean, there's an actuator on Webster and 3rd and 4th. There's a car there that lets the car go. It may not go as quickly perhaps as, but then we hear that you can't travel on 3rd and 4th Street because you have to stop at too many stoplights on 3rd and 4th Street. So it's a balance. As part of the 412 TSM improvements, there's been enormous investments on traffic flow throughout on 3rd Street as well as 4th Street. So it's probably one of the most modern, and you couple that with the $16 million of improvements that Sands has made on Daly Avenue. You know, it's probably the most modern thoroughfare that we have in the city, and getting better as the $90 million or $80 million improvement of 412 continues. And any of the side streets that run north and south, as I said earlier, that are closed temporarily because of a $6.5 million public improvement to the Greenway. So I don't know that anyone that's driven down 3rd or 4th Street can look at South Side and think that it was anybody's afterthought. It's been, you know, quite the focus of quite a lot of investment, and the whole reason why we have traffic on South Side versus a wasteland is because of much of those investments.
Thank you. Any other public comment? This meeting's adjourned.